Hello and welcome to this tutorial, and in this tutorial we are basically going to design the screen which appears when we close the navigation bar. So if we have a look at here, this is our navigation bar right here, and whenever we close this navigation bar, this thing right here is nothing but the screen or the activity which is going to be visible for us. So basically in this tutorial we are going to design the same screen. So what we want to do here is that we want to add a logo to the screen, and we are going to provide these options as in the form of buttons right over here, so that the user could either choose the activities from this navigation bar, or he could also choose it from this screen right here. So if we go to content navigation.xml, this thing is nothing but the screen or the activity which lies below the navigation bar. So whenever we exit out of the navigation bar, we are able to have a look at this. So we are going to design it in such a way that we have a logo here, and then we have multiple buttons over here which will help the user to navigate through our application. So the very first thing which we do is that we add an image view right over here. So we go to this image view, drag it and drop it right over here. So in order to assign it some properties, let's switch to the XML, and let's say the layout width is going to be 75 dps, and let's say the layout height is going to be 75 dps as well. So this thing is basically an image view, so that we could add our logo here, and if you want you could make it even more bigger, but let's see how our image fits over here. So what I have done is that I have added an image over here which says logo.png. So we basically need to add this image to this image view right here. So we select this image view, go to properties and look for a property called background. Simply click on this button, then go to project, click this thing right here so that this folder is folded up. So even if we type it here, we are going to get our logo image. Now simply click OK, and as you could see, the logo has been added. Now if you feel that this is a bit smaller, what we could do is that we could go right here, and instead of 75, let's make it 175, and let's see how it looks. And I think it is going to be perfect. We just need to align it a little bit to the top. So as you could see, now our logo is ready, and it doesn't matter if it looks a bit boring. That is because we are not designing this application perfectly. We are designing it just to understand how an app functions. So once the logo is added, the next thing which we do is that in order to make up the background consistent, we assign the background some color. So we switch to the activity which has our color. So if we go here, as you could see, this is our background. So the color of our background is this one, so we simply copy it, and we basically want to apply the same color to the background of our activity. So we switch back here, and then we go to properties, go to background, and we apply the color to it. So as you could see, now the color of the background changed. Now the next thing which we do is that we add multiple buttons over here so that the user is able to navigate, and we are going to name these buttons as view gallery, locations, testimonials and contact us. So basically we are trying to add 4 buttons over here. So let's go to the content navigation.xml, drag a button, and let's say we drop it right over here in the middle, and we are going to drag 3 more. So let's go ahead and do so. So as you could see, the buttons have been added. Now the only thing which we need to do is that we need to name them something else. So for the first button we have view gallery. So we return here and we type in view gallery, and for the second one we have locations, then we have testimonials and contact us. So we have locations here, we have, and for this we have testimonials, testimonials, and for the final thing we have contact us. So as you could see, we have our buttons over here. Now the only thing which we need to do is that we need to add some styling to it so that it looks appropriate to with respect to the screen. So in order to do it, we are going to make changes by using the text of the XML. So I'm going to switch on the preview here so that we could see the changes which are made. So if we select the first button, as you could see, this thing gets highlighted. So this is the tag for our first button. Now the first thing which we do is that we change the width of this thing. So let's say the layout width is going to be match parent, so it fills up the entire thing. So as you could see, now it looks a bit better. And now we are going to do the same thing with all of these buttons. So let's go to the second button, let's change it to match parent. Let's go to the third one, let's also change it to the match parent, and for the final button, let's also change it to match parent. So now as you could see, all the 4 buttons are filling up the entire space. Now the next thing which we do is that we need to assign the text color, we need to assign the color to these buttons as black, as it is going to match up with this thing. So we go to the first button and add up a property which is called as text color. So we type first we add up the background color. So we type background equals, and then we type we type in hash 000000 for black, and we are going to copy the same property to each and every button so that each button turns black. So once the buttons are black, the next thing which we do is that we need to make the text visible by basically making the text color equals white. So we again get back to the first button, then type in Android text color, and for this we are going to type in hash FFFFFF. So as you could see, now the color has turned white and the text is basically visible. So we are going to do the same with all the buttons. So now once we are done with this, the only thing which we do is that we also increase the size of this text to a little bit more. So let's go ahead and type in Android text size, and let's say it is like 30 sp. Let's see how it looks like. It is a bit bigger, so I think 10 sp would be appropriate. It is a little bit smaller, so let's say 20 sp, and I think it looks appropriate. Or rather, let's say it should be 15 sp. So 15 sp is the current size, so let's make it 20 sp again. So we are going to copy the same thing to all the buttons so as to make them look consistent. So once we have added the size of the buttons, as you could see, the buttons are visible. Now as you could see, we have our buttons here, but the thing is that there is no space between the buttons. So let's go ahead and add some margin to the buttons. So let's go ahead and select the first button and let's add margin. So we type Android margin, and let's say we add margin to the bottom. So we type Android margin bottom equals 10 dp. So as you could see, there is a bit space in between these two, and let's say rather than 10 dp, let's say we assign it a value of 5 dps. So it would be more appropriate, and we are going to copy the same line of code in each and every button so that there is a space after each button. So once we are done adding it, as you could see, now we could distinguish between the multiple buttons available. So once it is done, we are good to go. Now the only thing which we need to do is that we actually need to add an on click to all these buttons so that whenever these buttons are clicked, some action occurs. So we go to this view right here and we assign the on click to the first one. So we go to properties, and to this on click we type in view gallery. To this we type in locations. To this we type in testimonials, and for the final one we type in contact us. So what we are going to do is that once we have these 4 activities ready, we are basically going to use these methods to start the new activities which are present right over here. So once it is done, we are basically done with designing the screen for the navigation. So if we switch back to this thing, as you could see, right below or right beneath this navigation bar or navigation drawer, we have the newly created activity, which is nothing but this menu right here. So that's it for this tutorial, and I hope you guys understood how we have created this activity right here. So basically we have added a logo and we have added 4 buttons right here in order to provide a navigation to the user. So basically we have 2 ways for the user to navigate. So either he could navigate through the navigation bar, and if you don't want the navigation bar, you could make him navigate through this menu right here. So that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you.